All right. So my name is Shannon. I'm one of the brand partners from LifeWave, and I am so excited about getting my X2O water machine. One of the most nerve-wracking things when you are spending over $5,000 is understanding, can I put this together and not break it? So I'm going to do an unboxing, but I'm also going to show you step by step what you need to do to make this easy and not nerve-wracking. Now, I felt so blessed and really lucky. I teach yoga, and we had to be able to order by 9 o'clock, and my class starts at 9. So right at 10 o'clock, I went into another room, placed an order, and I know I probably got one of the last ones because one of my students went home to order hers and she didn't get it. But I know LifeWave is producing a lot more, so she's right on the very top of the list. So if you are someone that, is on that wait list, it's okay. They are producing more of these and you will be able to get your X2O before you know it. Now, I always like to have the supplies that I need. So I have a larger scissors, a smaller scissors, a nice knife, and you're going to need a pitcher of water. You're going to end up putting 5 gallons of water through the machine. We're also going to go over some of the measurements so you can pre-design where is the best place to put your X2O machine. Now it comes in this packing box, but it also has another box inside of it. You're going to want to keep both boxes, and the company recommends that you keep both the boxes. Now, I always use a knife that I know I only use for packing, and one that I'm not going to cut myself. Now, this weighs about 40 pounds. So if you are somebody that has any issues or any physical problems, get someone to help you. Oh, I love this. Important setup information enclosed, and it's right here on the top. Now, it has this beautiful packaging as everything that LifeWave does, and it says right on the top, LifeWave X2O. So I'm going to put this on its side, and I'm going to pull this. This box, let's keep this to the side. And I do know that LifeWave packages this pretty carefully. They don't have anything on the top that says this side up. So it is okay if you're careful to tip it over onto its side. X2O includes a pre-loaded USB flash drive, contains the latest firmware update. So make sure you keep this as part of your initial setup. And it's got a QR code right on here to be able to give you directions. And then on the back are quick guide instructions. So I'm going to put this back in, and we'll put that to the side. Now we're going to open. And again, you always want to have something that you know is not going to damage what is inside. And it only has tape on the very front, so it opens pretty easily. You can see inside, the very first thing that they have is quick start guide. So my recommendation would be to take this out, make sure to review some of these things, and just take a little planning time before you do this, or at least watch the way I do this. Now, it also has it very nicely packed. But again, you're going to want to probably pull it out. And so I always recommend pulling things out from the back, not the front. So I'm going to flip this over onto its side. Especially if you're doing this by yourself, like I am. Now these open, and so you can kind of see, this is going to pull out. So I'm going to be able to use and pull all of this. All right. And so they've packed this really well. I'm going to turn this so you can see. So everything that we need is going to be included. And then again, putting these to the side because you're going to need these if you ever have an issue where you need to send it back. I'm going to put this up on a more secure area, which is what I have this table over here for. Nice. I'm one of those people that like to put everything back right away so I don't lose anything. And then I'm even going to put it here. It makes it just so much easier when you need to unpack everything. Now this is your drip tray. And it looks like that's all that's in there so far. Attached to the back of it, they have some other things. So in here is your charger. So now one thing you can do is now that you have everything out, put everything back. Get it out of your way. I find things are less stressful when I know I have everything out of my way and ready to go. This would probably help. All right. So now we can move that out of the way and we can look and see this. So this is just tape. So instead of ripping the bag, we can just start to tape it off. It's going to go right back in the box. So now here is your X2O water machine. And so a lot of the parts that LifeWave has put together that you have to put together are actually housed in the machine. So I'm going to start to take apart that and then we'll go through step by step what you need. Now, some of the things that you might want to look at is the machine itself is about 18 by 18. So you're going to need a large enough place to be able to put this. So getting that set up, you're also going to need access to an outlet. So make sure when you're starting that you have access to an outlet. All right, so let's get this taken apart and we'll start to put everything together. All right, so in this bag, you have some directions. You have a quick start guide. You're definitely going to want to look at your user manual. And then right at the very beginning, just a reminder to save your packaging. So just make sure, save all your packaging, but they put this at the very front because it was that important. So a lot of your supplies are right in the side of this area. And so you can take this off. And as you can see, everything is fit right in here. And so you're going to want to gently make sure you take all of this out. Any packaging that you have, you can put back in your container. And then these are zip tied. And this is your primary filter. And this is your hose. So you're going to need your hose. And if you're not next to a sink, you can get a bucket and you can just use the drainage for the bucket. We're going to move this so it's near our sink. All right, so I want to show this. This is the filter. It was covered with plastic. There is threading on the outside. So you can see this has some threading or some ridges. And then the other side is very smooth. This threaded side, you're going to want to put down into this primary container and this is called the primary filter. You'll take this lid off and you'll put it down into that, threading side down, and then we're going to put this back on top. All right, so I put the filter into the filter housing, and what you want to do is turn it until it's pretty firm. And so now it's not going anywhere, and I'm going to put the lid back on, and you just tighten that down, and that is ready to go. Now, the next part is the secondary filter, and you're going to pull this top off. I will warn you, it takes a little bit of time to get it off. So just twist, and then you're going to have a housing here that it goes in. And so you're going to put this in and up. And as you do that, it's going to go right into place. Now you're going to turn right or clockwise. And you're going to make sure this is lined up. And then just until it's tight. And that's good to go. So your next step is you're going to take your power cord, and the back of the power cord goes right into the back of the machine. And so you can see right here, this plug is going to go here, and that's going to plug in. Then put that into your outlet. And the front of the machine says it's going to turn on automatically. And so up at the very top, I see the LifeWave emblem light up. So I'm going to move my camera so you guys can see this. And this turned on automatically, so I didn't have to do anything. This way I know it's actually on and it's ready to start working. All right, so now we have it plugged in. You're going to locate the hose. Now, if you're somebody that has your unit where you're not right next to a sink, you might want to do the flushing part of this process, which is not going to be something you have to do all the time next to a sink. You can also get a bucket. So we have a sink right here. I'm going to put the hose in the sink. Make sure it actually goes down so it's dripping out. And then I'm going to go to the menu and I'm going to push flush filter. And it's going to take me through a series of directions. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to say flush filter, and then you're going to click flush primary. When you do that, it's going to want you to confirm, and it says place flushing hose into a sink and turn the valve to the flush position. And I'm going to show you really quick. There is normal operation and there's flush. So there's a flush secondary filter, there's a flush primary filter. Right now we're doing the primary filter. It's the bottom filter. So we're going to take that from normal operation to flush, and we're just going to turn it over until it's pointing towards flush. Then you can confirm, make sure your hose is back in the sink. Confirm. And it's going to say add water to the reservoir. And this process is going to take 15 minutes. All right, so it is starting to do its filtering process. It is draining water in the sink over here. While you're doing this, so you're going to fill the water container on the side. You want to use either purified water, clean water, if you live in an area that you have filtered tap water, ideally better water during this process. And you're going to want to have water on the reserve. This actually goes through pretty quickly. So have some pitchers of water ready. Now I'm about 12 minutes through, but it's actually filtering this water out quickly. So I have a pitcher ready to go of water to be able to fill this up. So you're not going to want to walk away. You're going to want to stay here for this process because this actually drains quickly. It was all the way up here, and I've already put a little bit more in it, and it's already down to here. So just keep water ready. They actually recommend that you have about 5 gallons of water ready, but if you're near a sink, I think that'll work well. So it's a good idea to just keep this lid off. I'm going to add in more water. So it really is using a lot of water. And if you're using a bucket, before you flush the secondary filter, you're going to want to empty the bucket. And you can see this is taking a lot of water. I have about 5 minutes left. All right, so I have about 56 more seconds, and this is my 6th pitcher of water to put in. So it is definitely using probably a little bit more than 5 gallons of water. And like I said, if you have a hose, you can see this is emptying quite a bit of water over here. Now, the filter itself is completely saturated, and pretty soon the menu is going to show that it's done, it's complete, and then we're going to flush the secondary filter. All right, so I just wanted to show you the primary filter, and you can see here that it is fully saturated. That's why the color change. So that is normal. Now, what you're going to want to do is take it from flush primary filter and take it back over to normal operation. If you do not turn this back and then you put the lid back on, the machine can leak. So now we're going to go into normal operation and we're going to flush the secondary filter. And you're going to have a menu at the top and it's going to ask you to just follow the steps. Now, again, if you have that bucket, you're going to want to empty your bucket. And we're going to go in here and we're going to say flush filter, return the valve to normal operation position, confirm. Now, flush filter, flush secondary filter. So I'm going to turn the valve on the secondary filter over to flush, which is on the right. And I'm going to flush secondary filter. It says place hose into sink, turn the valve into the flush position, and confirm. And again, this flushing process for this filter is another 15 minutes, which means you're going to have to keep filling it up with water. So you're going to want to stay here. So your commitment when you're starting this is a minimum of 30 minutes that you're going to be here doing this. So if you don't have that kind of time, don't start this process. All right, so we have finished that part. It says right here at the top with the secondary flush filter, return the valve to normal operation. So again, and I'm going to show the normal valve operation, and you can see like this one is on normal valve. It's over towards the long secondary filter. Right now, this is still on flush, so I need to turn this back over to normal valve, and you'll even feel a little click. So you want both of these blue filters turned over towards the long filter. Now, you're going to want to let this dry. And so let this dry, and then you're going to want to coil this back into the machine and just make sure it's safely in there, and then you're going to put the cover on. I'm going to let this dry overnight and so it can evaporate, and the company says let it evaporate, and that way you're not going to have to worry about it collecting mold or anything else because water is in there. So now I can say and confirm, and if I wanted to do anything else, it's in the menu. So it says system drain, factory test, firmware update, flush filter. And the company is going to give you recommendations as to how often that you're going to do these. So now that I have put the filter back in, made sure it is secure, I'm going to put the cover back on, and you just put it from the bottom, and you're going to hear a click. And it goes in pretty easy once you have everything lined up. At the very top, there is a little arrow where the menu is to the far left. And you're going to want to click that to get out of the menu. Now it says treatment in process, filling the tank. So I have filled my water reservoir completely. The machine is going to take about 45 minutes to filter through the process. So now it is making the light water. It's going to go through a 2 filtration system. It's going to add in hydrogen, and it also uses 6 different frequencies of light. Now, David actually, when he created this, had to get a new patent, and they opened a division in the patent department because there was nothing like this. And so the light is what makes this water really unique. The light is what actually helps it reach our cells at a much faster rate than just hydration alone. And so that's what takes so long. So, yes, it's 45 minutes to make the water. It's ideal on an empty stomach. So, first thing in the morning, get up, come down. You can already have your water in the reservoir. Push the button, and your water will be ready. Now, you want to use glass, but if you're going to store the water and it's going to store for a couple of hours, you're going to want to use blue glass, amber glass, or violet glass because you're going to want to block any of the light from coming out of the water. The company recommends if you're going to put it in the refrigerator, you want to store it in a dark place that's not exposed to light. And so these blue bottles can be really helpful. If you're going to store, they do come in larger containers, but don't just use clear glass. So I will put in the links to this video, a couple of different companies that you can go through. You can get really good quality blue glass and violet glass. Now, again, you're going to want to do this first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and you only need 1 glass a day. The benefits are going to stay in your system for many hours. People have said they feel a lot more energy. Everyone is going to have a different experience. I have never used it, so I don't have anything to share as far as an experience, but I really encourage you to try the water and have your own experience. Now, with something like this, these are going to be compound benefits. Better hydration, it's going to help your body hydrate easier. And so these are things that as we do it every day, we're going to start feeling better and better every day. So I recommend using this every day. If you have any questions, feel free to comment or link below. And I'm going to have a step-by-step guide of what you need to do when you get your water machine in the notes below. If you would like that, just contact me via the notes below and I'm happy to help you. And if you are not a customer and not a brand partner and you're interested in finding out more about the water machine, please contact me. If you liked this video, make sure to hit the and subscribe button because I will have more benefits and my journey on the water. Thank you so much. And I look forward to enjoying my water first thing in the morning because I don't want to drink it at night because I'm afraid it's going to give me a lot of energy and keep me up.